Hello, hello, hello. Episode 20. We're back. Great week. How's everyone doing? Hello. Oh, yeah. And let's get started. Hey, welcome everybody to another great episode of the Sweet Lou Special. I hope everyone's enjoying their week so far. My apologies for this week's troubles. But hey, we're back. And I hope we're having a great. Hey, welcome everybody. All right, perfect. Okay, so. Ooh, sounds a little bit weary in here. Episode 20, let's get in on it. Today's hot topics involves the situation going on in Venezuela. And that has really caught the attention of the world. And I think this is an important thing to be talking about, considering what is going on. And involves the situation going on in Venezuela. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That has really caught the attention of the world. And I think this is an important. Alright, so as everyone may know, okay, videos have surfaced yesterday about some situations going on in Venezuela that is showing that the Maduro-led military running over protesters and military vehicles. And so I'm going to start off today's episode by giving you guys a little bit of a clip that shows and gives you guys an idea of what is going on out there. So let's get started with that, okay?
Protesters in Venezuela have taken to the streets with tensions continuing to rise, all part of an effort to oust sitting President Nicolas Maduro. In the capital of Caracas, pro-Maduro forces clashed with supporters of newly elected President Juan Guaido. And now, one Republican congressman is making his case for backing the opposition forces. Florida Representative Mario Diaz-Balart went on Tucker Carlson's Fox News show arguing that if the Maduro regime survives, it could be an open door for the Russians and Chinese to affect U.S. national security in this hemisphere. And Tucker had some follow-up questions.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's kind of hard to see what you're talking about exactly. Are you suggesting they're going to invade?
No, they don't have. Look, the United States, the closest we ever came to nuclear war was because the Russians put missiles, right, nuclear missiles, in Cuba.
So are you suggesting the Russians are going to put nuclear missiles in Venezuela?
What I'm suggesting is that they're already there.
Now, Diaz-Balart didn't offer any evidence to back this claim up, and the State Department did not return a request for comment from Fox News. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has signaled their support for the new Venezuelan president in his efforts to take control of the country.
All right, let's go back to the part, if we can.
What does it mean to be
I don't think it's going to let us.
It's all about you doing you, while getting a little more organized and protecting the planet.
Anyway, so there it is. Guys, I gave you guys a little bit of a small clip of what's going on. And especially the one scene where it shows the military vehicle that was running over the protesters. That's what really erupted yesterday. And it really gave the world an eye-opening opinion and a rude awakening of what's going on in the country of Venezuela and what's going on in the world today. Now, okay, so the Venezuelan government, okay, is really under its socialist regime of Nicolas Maduro. Okay, the country continues to plummet its citizens into hunger and poverty as the debate of who is the rightful president continues. Now, it is claimed that after last year's elections, that it was rigged, and the voting that Maduro refuses to give up his position. So there was a lot of corruption involved in that, and about who is the rightful president. Is it Guaido or is it Maduro? Now, Maduro had originally gained power back in 2013 after Chavez had died while he was in power, so he took over. And then in 2018, when the elections had occurred, there was claims of corruption and rigging in the elections, and that after Maduro became president, he had went in to destroy the legislative branch or the legislature of his government in hopes that to create a new one that would take its place, that would reflect more of what his ideologies were, and to reconstruct the Constitution of Venezuela. Now, the country has seen more than 3 million people leave and migrate out, which has put a big burden on her neighboring countries like Colombia, Brazil. All right, and that's 3 million people that have left the country since 2014. Okay, that's a lot. As you see, that whenever struggles happen in any kind of country, people are going to be quick to leave. And it could be debatable in my personal opinion about how I feel about that, because I feel like if people should be able to stand and fight and do whatever they can for the right and for the goodness of the people and of the country, and fight for each other and fight for themselves. And they have 3 million people, leave. I mean, I understand why, but where's the patriotism into trying to make their country better? All right, now Maduro has the support of the Russian government. Okay, as I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, it was brought to attention of the United States that the Russian government has sent political advisors, or military advisors, down there into Venezuela after Maduro had condemned the United States government and said that we're going to cut off all ties with us, and that's fine. But what's scary is that now that the Russians are down that close, of course they're going to hop in. They're going to take advantage of the entire situation, come on in, and be as close as they can to the United States, because that's what strikes fear in one thing. And another thing is that is going to make the United States government very uneasy to have Russians down there. They want to be, they want to have their influence closer around the United States, as the United States has influence close to Russia. That's how they view it, which I understand why. Okay, not only that, but the Venezuelan government, led by Maduro, is also being supported by countries of Cuba and Bolivia. Okay, not a surprise, as they both have communist ties to them. Now, it's a very, very sad situation in the entire country of Venezuela, as Maduro has closed off the borders to Colombia and Brazil, who have been trying to send aid into the country to the people of Venezuela that are suffering. Okay, I mean, he completely closed off the borders, and so he has a travel ban, and I believe what it is, it's a travel ban from outgoing, leaving out, coming in, whatever. Okay, total totalitarianism that's going on in the socialist government of Venezuela. And as we all should know, is that Maduro has been bringing in a socialist regime into the country of Venezuela. He has disarmed its people and have driven over 80% of households into food insecurity and starvation. 80% of households in the country of Venezuela are going with food insecurity and into starvation. They can't work. They can't feed themselves, their families. It's chaos continuing. It's going on and on and on. And it's sad. It's terrible that this thing is happening. And it just proves to the world about how socialism really works in practice in any country on this planet. Now, this all comes at a time in American politics where we have people like AOC and Bernie Sanders who consider themselves democratic socialists. When you ask me, what's the difference between a Democrat and a democratic socialist? Is the socialist part, obviously. Or a socialist and a democratic socialist. It's just the word democratic. They basically viewing themselves as the same. Or, in practice and in ideology they are. They are basically the same. It's just semantics and just add a fancy word of democratic to it. But socialism will not work. And I'll be damned if it ever happens here in the United States. Now, I understand that there could be some middle ground into creating some social programs like education and other stuff, finding work, You know, there's all programs that are funded by the state. Sometimes the people like to pay more taxes in order to create programs to help each other out, which is A-okay. We have unemployment, which is not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it gets abused. Welfare is being abused. EBT and food stamps are being abused. But there are ways, and there are people that use it the right way. And those are good things to have. They are. I will agree. But a totalitarian socialist government will not work in the United States. Nor will it work anywhere else in the world. Juan Guaido is claiming to be the true president of Venezuela and is recognized by most Latin American countries and the United States and other European countries as the real president of Venezuela. After the legislature had determined that he was the president, but Maduro says he's the president. And what keeps Maduro in power? Physical force. You see, their military works in a completely different way that ours does. And he has promised that the heads of the military, the generals, whoever's in charge over there, certain power and control over industries in Venezuela so that he can maintain control of the military and use the military for his own benefit. The economy in Venezuela has skyrocketed to unforeseen amounts and inflation that no country in the world has ever seen on the face of this planet. It is sickening to see on how people cannot afford the necessities of food, hygiene products, basic stuff, necessities to live and survive. Black market prices for products like that are basically unattainable by the working people of the country. Now, I urge you to go online and look up like what a gallon of milk or some eggs cost on the black market, because that's what happened. The black market is in control. There is no established economy. Markets around the entire country have empty shelves. They can't sell food. It's unattainable, basically. And if you're wanting to go buy a chicken or try to buy some food to feed your family, you have to go to the black market. The black market is just extremely inflated. I've heard rumors that they don't even bother counting the currency. They just weigh it to see if it may be close to enough to buy a carton of eggs. That's just stipulate. I don't know. That's just word of mouth. That's what I heard. Maybe wrong, but don't take that as fact. Now, market shelves are empty. Protests continue as the Maduro-led government had made promises to the military. And he's maintaining control, as you see in the videos of all the military in the streets, hurting its own people that are protesting. They're unarmed because the government took that away. Murder rates have gone up. Disease has gone up. Starvation, death, everything. Everything that you can think of that is wrong and bad in this world, that is what's happening in Venezuela. And it's fucking terrible. But now, especially after the videos that came out yesterday, this should be a reality to the world now. No one can dispute what is going on in the country of Venezuela. No one. I feel, and this is my opinion on the matter, that extreme measures need to be taken in by North and South American countries together, collectively, brought to a table where the leaders of North and South American countries could come together and be like, look, this is what's going on in our neighboring country here in South America, in Venezuela. And that we need to come together and create a plan to solve this problem, as it's clear and obvious that the problem is not being solved, and that totalitarianism and that fear, starvation, oppression continues on in their country. It may be extreme for me to say, But I just think that that we need to come together and intervene on the problem that's going on. Recognize that it's not getting any better. And that as years pass on and go on, time continues, the people are just continuing to suffer and be oppressed by a president that they didn't vote in, that was corrupt in the first place. To me, military intervention seems to be a correct approach to this. And if I was in charge, I would probably give a courtesy call over to President Putin and advise in a polite way to suggest to move his people out of the country, because intervention of some sort is probably inevitable at this point from outside countries. And I don't think that we would have a lack of support from other South American countries like Colombia. Possibly Brazil might give issues, but I don't think so. There have been videos of showing, by Vox, which is a highly liberal outlet, people going in on the border of Colombia and Venezuela, basically implying that we should be opening our borders to our neighbors and to our neighbor in Mexico. But even the country of Colombia is having issues of supporting the influx of people that are coming in from Venezuela. Because they're the ones that are having to support them economically. They're the ones that are going to have to start supporting them socially. And it becomes a big burden onto their government. But anyway. Now, as I say this, people will criticize me more than likely about how the United States always gets involved in other countries and their elections. Yes, this may be true in the past, but if we have the means to help out people that are being starved and oppressed by their government, or by a man who sits on his throne eating filet mignon and drinking top shelf liquor while his people are starving and struggling and protesting every day, that we must do what we can to bring this part of the world together to solve this issue in an appropriate manner. Because it is wrong of what is going on, and no government in this world should be oppressing their own people. And this is what happens. And then this gives the people like AOC and Bernie Sanders a platform, and this gives us conservatives to be like, look, this is what happens when you believe in socialism. This is what happens when you take away the rights from the people and create a stronger central government. This is what happens. This is what can happen. And it's not looking good, especially in the midst of the 2020 election next year. Campaign run. Whatever. But something needs to be done. Do you think diplomacy could bring peace to this people? As you said in the video, there's that politician that seems to believe that weapons and like nuclear weapons are already being brought into Venezuela. I don't know. That's kind of a long shot. But I do feel that something and someone collectively, politically, needs to come together to intervene on this situation. If we have the means to help others, we should. I don't know what you guys think about it. If you agree with me, or what are your opinions on the entire situation going on in Venezuela? But I can guarantee you this. I know that Maduro is sitting up there, living high and mighty, eating his steak and potatoes or whatever the hell it is, drinking his Dom Perignon, while the people are suffering, dying. It's terrible. But hopefully this gives the world an eye-opening experience, an eye-opening moment to see what really goes on in a country like that, as being run by a socialist regime that takes away the rights of its people in order for one person or a few to maintain power, control, and live their rich lives in a country that people that are poor. So give me your guys' opinion. I'd like to know. Feel free to comment. Give me your 2 cents. I'm curious about what you guys think. Because I'm upset about the situation. And people around the world should be upset of what's going on. Because we don't want to see any people suffer that shouldn't. We don't want to see innocent people, children, wives, fathers, mothers, daughters, sisters, brothers, fathers, so on and so forth. Everyone. We have made strides in the past 100 years alone to make sure that stuff like this will not happen to others. And I just hope, and I just pray that something happens as a resolution and that we can come up with a resolution to this entire fucked up situation. Anyway. Moving on. So, I hate to say this, but I feel like in my previous episodes of my suspicions were correct. I brought this up last week on Monday about hate being spewed around the world with the incident that happened in Sri Lanka, confirmed as a retaliation to the New Zealand attacks. And now we see the world has experienced hate towards Muslims, Christians, and Jews. There's a situation a while back where the Pittsburgh synagogue was attacked. Now I bring this up due to the recent attacks to a synagogue in San Diego that claimed the life of one woman and injured others. A man at the service who had recently found his Jewish roots was supposedly a Border Patrol agent who had shot at the assailant's car and really had done something to intervene to make sure that no other people were going to get killed. The man who came in to shoot up the synagogue was fired upon, and he was motivated by the attacks at the synagogue in Pittsburgh and also the mosque attacks in New Zealand. Now, if this is going to offend you with my language, I give you a fair warning because I'm going to swear here, but the man responsible was a 19-year-old piece of shit extremist. I was motivated to make this attack based on the hate he has in his heart. I hate to say this, but I knew that we were in the midst of more attacks towards organized religion. I had that fear that this was going to spew into other attacks and to other incidences that may occur here, stateside, or around the world. But I just had that feeling. This was my suspicions, and it came to light. Now, I feel like there is a conspiracy about attacking the beliefs, values, and faith of all people in the world, not just targeting one or the other. But I believe that there are people out there that make it their duty to try to divide the people based off of their religion and try to attack organized religion and people of all faiths so that we would aim our hate and attacks towards each other instead of those that are really responsible. Like I said before, I do not believe in coincidences, and I feel like all these recent events against the religion are happening for a reason. This is what I fear. Now, maybe I am off my rocker a bit, but that is what it looks like to me. Unfortunately, we're probably going to see it again here soon. I don't think it's going to stop. We already saw an attack yesterday or the other day on a campus in North Carolina. I believe it claimed 4 or 2. I don't remember the exact number. But that wasn't an attack motivated on religion. Now, they keep calling this like a hate crime of attacking organized faith or attacking a certain group of people. And as South Park had said, all of these crimes are based on hate. Is the attack at the synagogue in San Diego more hateful than the attack on the campus in North Carolina, in the University of North Carolina? No, the same amount of hate was in the heart of the assailant. No regard of human life or human safety. So I think that we use that term hate crime probably in a incorrect manner because they're all hate crimes. All hate. No one's doing it out of the love of the other people. What I feel about religion is this. We all believe in the same basic concepts of loving each other, that we are all not perfect, and that the basic sins against our fellow man is wrong, like murder and theft. However, it is a basic concept that people will always find some fucked up reason to kill each other, and I think that humanity has evolved enough to have basic education to know that these acts are wrong. The ability to read, the ability to interpret books and texts. We've evolved so much over the past few hundred years that religion is not so much of a motivator, but people have used religion to motivate others to commit crimes, to kill. This is fact, and this is not just for Muslims, but Christians, Jews, everyone alike. But we have gotten to a point where we understand that instead of hearing it preached from a man that's probably using religion to eschew the thoughts and what the real ideas are behind the Bible or behind spiritual texts, we can interpret ourselves because we're smarter now. We have better resources, technologies. The human race has advanced so much in the past 100 years alone in comparison to all of the time that humanity has been on this earth. Now, what is the answer to solve this problem? And this is, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. But something needs to happen. Politicians want to blame guns. And when guns are not involved, then it's personal responsibility. Any kind of crime like this, the left is going to say, well, it's going to be the guns. The guns did it. The guns did that. We don't want to put the entire blame on the individual because the individual got the guns and the guns did it. When I said before that we need to start glorifying the condemnation. Yeah, to condemn those responsible for the crimes. That's what we need to start glorifying, that we're going to punish them and punish those that have done wrong and broken the law appropriately. That not have broken the law appropriately, but punish them appropriately. Anyway, what I feel is that each individual needs to be aware that hate is out there, and every individual needs to be prepared to defend themselves. It's shitty to say that, but there is going to be more hate out there in the means of attacks. And what we need to do is that we need to destroy evil. And is that I feel that it is part of the duty of the American people to be able to have the right to police and protect their own communities. I feel that that is a duty of every citizen. But we don't want to get involved. People don't want to get involved. People want to live their happy lives in their box and stay away from other people's business, which I can see why. And that we employ and give the power to local police and local governments to protect us for us. But when it comes down to the core rights of every American citizen and resident in this country, is that we have the right to defend ourselves. We have the right to defend each other. Because local governments, police, they get their power from us and authority given by the people to them. To do that work on our behalf. But sometimes, when it's lacking, and they're not going to be there to protect you, you have to be prepared to protect and defend yourself. Life is not all about sunshine and happiness. There are going to be people out there that want to hurt you based on not knowing who you are, but based off of either opportunity or what they see as your skin color or your faith, or what you have or what you don't have. And that's just the truth. And no matter how hard we try to get it better in our environment, our communities, there's always going to be that small blip of badness. And if evil people out there that want to do innocent people harm, by stealing from them, hurting them, that's going to be the truth. No matter how hard we try, there is going to be that small percentage out there. And if you don't think that the American communities have gotten better in the past 100 years of trying to eliminate hate through education of our future generations, we are getting better as time goes by, but we're not perfect by any means. As I watched and shared a video on my Facebook page of a woman that was explaining about when was America great. America's always been great. We were great when we abolished slavery. We were great when the Americans decided to stand up to fight each other over what is right and wrong in the American Civil War. We were right when we gave women the power to vote. We were right when we fought against civil injustice in the 60s. We were right. We were great when we brought freedom and liberty to the countries of France, Belgium, and destroyed evil like the Nazis, and brought liberty and freedom to those in concentration camps. That's when America was great. We're not perfect by any means, and we always have some things that we have to tweak around to just get better tomorrow and get a little bit better the next day. But that's not only true for the country, but it's true for ourselves. That what can I do today to be just a little bit better than what I was yesterday? I'm not planning to climb Mount Everest by tomorrow, but maybe take that one extra step forward in a positive direction and get my mindset out of the gutter and into the light. But we are facing a time of where globalists are achieving their goal of wanting us to destroy ourselves from the inside out. That's what I feel. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy on that. Maybe you can agree, maybe you can disagree. I'm curious. But we cannot allow a religion to falter. We cannot allow basic human values to falter. Family values. Strong values of people. We cannot allow hate to control our lives and motivate us to attack and harm each other. Now, it's easy to hate. It's easy to do the wrong thing and go down the wrong path in life. But it's hard to do the right thing sometimes. It's hard to do the right thing when no one sees us. But these are things that we have to do for our neighbor, for our fellow American. And I'm proud to be living in a society, an American society, where on my street alone, we have so much diversity on this street. Muslim, Christian, Jew, Russian, African, Hispanic, white, whatever. Gay, lesbian, straight. I'm proud that I get to live on a street that's so diverse. That's the reality. And we all share the same basic values of what Americans should believe. And strong family values, and working hard for what we want and what we deserve. And not to be judged based off of beliefs, but more importantly, be judged based on the actions you have towards your fellow man. But when things become more difficult, we all need to come together, because division is the goal of the globalists. It is the goal of those aristocracy that, or whoever is above with all the money that wants to maintain their control. They view the people below them as the major threat to them, because they view themselves godlike, and it is wrong. I will not tolerate attacks towards anyone of their strong faith. Now, I will declare that I am an Orthodox Christian, and I am proud of it, and I respect Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, and Hindus. I have friends that are Muslim. I have been to Middle Eastern countries many times, and I plan to go again. Because you meet great people. When you interact with those and really get to know who they are, you'll find out that you'll have more in common with them than you'll ever think, because we get these prejudices in our minds and in our hearts and judge people before we even meet them, before we see them or greet them. The point that I want to make is this. I was taught basic responsibility of myself, and I will treat you based on how you treat others and how you treat yourself, because you are important too. Not only should you concentrate on treating others well, but concentrate on treating yourself well too. I just get tired of the media and extremists trying to divide the people of different faiths around in our country. Instead of glorifying the acts of this piece of shit, let us glorify his punishment. All right, the man responsible deserves the right to peace among us, and he will find judgment with God and how he sees fit, with heaven or hell. But however, we must condemn evil acts against our fellow people, and we must stand against hate, but know how to teach love and passion to each other, to our children, to the future of our planet, of our country. And I'm saddened that another synagogue was attacked. Now, people in the organized religion of the Jewish faith or Judaism, they are not, it's nothing new to receive death threats for them. And it's nothing new to be the center of hate of white supremacists and extremist groups, right-wing extremist groups. It's nothing new to them. And it's been a continuous thing for many, 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 many years towards, Jewish people. And, and they have gotten into the mindset of feeling that being armed, especially in the country of Israel, that public carrying of firearms of its citizens is not uncommon because of the likelihood of being attacked by the other side, or by anyone really, is high. They know that. There are private Jewish schools that hire armed guards because they know that the threat of being attacked is real. And a lot of the times it gets thwarted. And perfect example of the synagogue attack, where a man that was armed, it probably saved more lives. It probably saved others from being hurt because of him being armed. But we must understand that we must be able to defend ourselves. And then we must also give the power to the right people to be able to defend us or protect us as well. But it comes down to ultimately you must be ready to defend yourself at all times. Because what are you going to do when it's dark out and there's no one else out there that's going to help you out? You have to be prepared for that. And of course, we have politicians that want to just use this situation as a solidifying means of trying to disarm the American people further and further. Because there are controlling factors, other factors behind that, of why they want to disarm the American people, what I feel. And even though you don't want to admit it, a lot of people don't, because we want to live in this fantasy world of everything's going to be peaceful, sunshine and happiness. Wake up the next day, play outside, enjoy the sun, the nice weather. It may be like that 90% of the time, but no matter what happens, there is evil out there, and there are people that are wanting to do you harm, not because they know you, but because of opportunity, like I said before. So, and I'm sorry that all this happened, and I really hope that it stops, but I don't think that we are done at this point of seeing this kind of evil go on in our world here in the near future, in this year. I don't think so. I hope I'm wrong. But, I'm curious about what you guys think. If you're pro Second Amendment, if you guys agree with me, if you guys disagree with me, give me some hard critiques. What is it that you guys like about what I have to say, what you dislike? I really appreciate that everyone that has come onto the Facebook page and really been liking the content that I've been putting out. A lot of it's comedy and some of it's serious news articles. And the engagement that I've been getting on my Facebook page has been phenomenal. It's been great. I'm loving it. And first of all, as I wrap up today's episode, I want to thank you guys, the viewers, the followers, and the people that watch my content all around. I want to thank you guys, every single one of you. It has been great to be able to do this, and I'm sorry for this week that has been so up and down. But I'm always going to be continuing to work hard to try to give you guys the content, best stuff, my viewpoints of what's going on in the United States and what's going on in the world, my conservative point of view on everything. I hope you guys agree, but please don't be shy to get into conversation. Get into the discussion. Really give me your point of view. Because not only will you hopefully learn from me, but I want to learn from you guys too. And hey, if you haven't already, you're new to the channel, please follow me on Facebook. I'm at The Sweet Lou Special, all in one word, The Sweet Lou Special. The community's growing more and more every day. Getting over 300 followers right now. The goal is to get to 1,000 followers by the end of June. So please help me get to that goal of 1,000 followers by the end of June. And I'll get some kind of incentives being put on. And I really want to try to make this show better and really get the community involved. Because I am nothing without you guys. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram as well at SweetLou777. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel here below. Got some cool stuff in the description. You'll find all my Facebook information there. And hey, I want to give a special shout out also to Patriot Signs. I'm going to be getting a package in today. I'm going to make a short video of an unveiling of it, so I can give you guys the great products that this veteran-owned business, Patriot Signs, does. And hey, take a look at their page, Facebook, website, and show them some love. I appreciate everyone coming out to see me today. Happy Wednesday. Sorry for the slow start in the week. But enjoy the rest of your week. Take care, everyone.